Hello, family. Welcome to Architalker. Today is another interesting day for us, and we are going to be talking about architecture education. And we have an interesting architect with us. She's a mother, she's a wife, and a lecturer. And she happens to be the head of department for School of Architecture and Design in Central University in Miocho Pram Pram, Ghana. Welcome, Mrs. Ninette Kwafio.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor to have you here.
I'm actually excited to be here.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. It's good to be here. I actually appreciate what it is that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
We appreciate you too also for lecturing some of us. And so many students have passed through, and today we are excited, and I'm sure our listeners will be excited to hear from you as well, to take us through architecture education, what it is that it takes to be an architect, what it is to get through architecture school, and the tenacity that it takes to get through, from the start to the finish. I think you having gone through that system and being a lecturer now, you have a lot more experience on your hands to talk to us about the subject matter. So first of all, we want to understand your educational background. How did you get into architecture? What made you choose architecture in the first place?
That's an interesting question. I have loved architecture my whole life. I can say that, because I decided to become an architect when I was in class 4.
Oh, wow.
I just saw the word architecture in a newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which paper was that?
It was the Graphic.
Oh,
I
wow,
remember those times, and the one who sat in the desk with me in school was reading the newspaper somehow, some very brilliant chap.
Okay.
So he saw the word and asked me whether I knew the word. And I said, no, I didn't know it, but I'll go and find out. Or we should both go and find out so that we can tell ourselves the next day. So the next day he came and we found out. And architects build, buildings, they design buildings. And it sounded exciting for me. I said, oh, wow, that's something I would like to do.
Wow.
And it stuck with me.
Oh.
And I never changed my mind.
Okay.
And
so from class 4?
From class 4, the dream, was there. I kept building on it the whole time. And I developed interest in things that would draw me closer to architecture. Like technical drawing, technical skills, anything that would bring out the creative part of you, because I knew it had some art part of it.
Okay.
So I started developing that side of myself,
Wow.
And choosing subjects related to that.
Okay.
Until I had to go to secondary school.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to a particular secondary school, St. Joseph's, my alma mater. Hi, everybody. So I wanted to go to St. Joseph's, and I wanted to do visual arts because I knew it could lead me into architecture. But at the time, St. Joseph's didn't offer visual arts.
Wow.
And that was my school of choice.
Wow.
I wanted to be in that school. Somehow, all the people I looked up to in my church, in my area, my seniors, already the ladies who were doing very good went to St. Joseph's. So I decided that, okay, the next best subject I could do and do very well was home economics, because I had that skill that came naturally to me. Everything about home economics, it's very easy for me to.
Was this you swaying away from architecture?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It seemed like that, originally, that if you go and do home economics, will you be able to do architecture? But here's the catch. For everything you want to do in life, this is what I tell my students. You should do some research about it. You should find out if it will be possible to do it or not. Don't just jump in and hope that it will work out. So I had to find out from the university. And KNUST was the only university that offered architecture at the time. So can I do home economics and come into KNUST to do architecture? I wanted to find out. So I had somebody find out for me. And at the time, the head of department there, Prof. Intiful, he had this opportunity that he had just opened up for all programs, students from all programs to
Wow.
come in to read architecture.
Wow.
So it was not for a selected few programs.
Mm.
So when I understood that that was the case and that I could go into architecture with home economics, I decided that, well, if it is just the cutoff point we are looking for, and home economics was something I could do very well, then I would do home economics.
To get into architecture.
To get into architecture. So I
Wow.
did that, and I got into architecture with it. Fortunately for me, that was the only time home economics students were accepted into architecture school in KNUST. There were 2 of us who got in, and we are very close friends now. We work together.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
And we did well too.
So getting into architecture school, I think you did how many years? 7 years?
We did 6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
Wow.
4 years undergraduate and then 2 years postgraduate. Yes.
Okay. So, but now being the head of department, what's the cutoff point, and like what are the courses that people need to do before they get into architecture?
So in Central University now, our cutoff point is aggregate 20. We also take people from every course. Students from all course backgrounds can read architecture.
Okay.
Once you make not more than aggregate 20, we give you the opportunity.
Yes, having to get into the course, go through year 1 and all the courses, I think we might get into it. What do you believe are the core skills and knowledge that architecture students should gain before entering the profession? Like your whole 7 years or 5 years in school. I know Central is 5 years because that's what I did. KNUST is now doing 4 and then 2. That matches up to 6. So in this period of undergoing the training, what are the key skills and knowledge that students are expected to, grab and have their hands on before they get into the profession? Okay,
so for you to graduate and get into professional work life as an architect, I believe you have to be able to design. You need to be able to design well. Design buildings that bring comfort to people or projects that solve problems. You need to be able to design aesthetically appealing buildings or projects. You get it? That's one of them. So you should be able to design. You should have some competency in digital technologies.
Okay.
Yes, you should be able to use the softwares.
Okay.
You get it? The Revit, AutoCAD, and all the rendering softwares. You should have mastered them well enough to be able to use them, because those are the ones you're going to be using in your office of work or the firm that you're working in.
Yes. But do students get opportunity to be taught that in school?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So they have the opportunity to learn all kinds of softwares.
Okay.
We now teach the Revit as a subject in the second year.
Oh, you've evolved, because we did AutoCAD.
Yes, we used to do AutoCAD, but now we do Revit. Okay. Yes, and there's opportunity to learn many other softwares as well.
Yes.
Currently, actually, there's this innovative thing that the students have come up with. So ASAC, the Architecture Students Association, the Central University chapter, and the KNUST chapter have come together. And so they are organizing student-led training in software.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Wow. So students are teaching students how to use software.
Oh, you remember at some point in school I was doing that?
Yes, I do. I do remember. Yes.
No confused. Yes. I was actually taking money to do that. Interested. Yes. So for that's part of the courses. So the general courses, the curriculum that is being offered in school and all, how well does it prepare the students also for the real world? The practice?
I think in school, we teach all the theory that we need to teach compared to all other universities out there. We have strong theory that is taught, and then the practical part of it is also quite well developed now. Students go through the studios, they practicalize all their ideas and their thoughts and build models and test their ideas, with those models and all the simulations that the students do. So the curriculum, I think, has all the components of what an architecture student requires to be able to come out as a fully fledged, ready young architect for the market.
Yeah.
What maybe we may be lacking is modern tools like 3D printers and very modern model making studios like they have elsewhere.
Cutters.
Yes, those kinds of cutters. The laser cutters we actually even have in Central University. So now students are cutting with the laser cutters.
Wow.
And so model making has become a little bit more difficult. But I know those are some of the things that students may lack in terms of what the curriculum provides.
Okay. And these things, from my experience, I believe help us understand skill, in buildings compared to humans and all that. So also, this leads me on to another question where, we did structures for architects, we did maths for architects and all those things, services, which included understanding mechanical, electrical, plumbing, design, and all these things. At some point, when we were students, we never understood, where is this taking us to? It was like, this is just too much. Or when we get out there are professionals who would design those things. So why should we be studying them, especially the physics part, which is like structures? What's your take on that? What do you think is the importance of
architecture? Is such a collaborative profession, so much so that, and because of the fact that we lead the team most of the time, the professional team that handles built environments is mostly led by architects. And so it would be a very bad thing if you didn't know what the other professionals on your team, are doing on the project. You need to know what their work involves. You need to understand what structures have been put in place, what is going to go in there, how it's going to stand, how your beautiful idea will stand, how it will be built, how it will be constructed, the materials that will be used, that's the strength of materials, the structures that we learn, the loads that will act on the building, how will the building behave, when loads act on it and all that. So if you are knowledgeable about that, then when you go and you meet the team, at least you can, bring about, you can make some meaningful contributions to the discussions that you have.
Okay.
Definitely. Yes. So I think it's very important.
That's interesting. But there's one thing that I think I would commend Central University for doing our time in school. I think structures for architects was a bit tedious, and we thought we went in depth. We were doing calculations that we thought wasn't really necessary to us. But thanks being to God, you and your team listened to us, and then it was rebuilt, if I should say. You revised it to be meaningful to us as architects. It wasn't in depth, and then it actually made it more interesting and fun for us to study it. And then the C's and D's dropped to A's and B's. So thank you for that. So what's the biggest gap or weakness in the architectural education in Ghana or Africa as a whole? I know you've mentioned lack of CNC and all that, but what do you think is the biggest weakness and gaps that we have? I
don't think we have very big gaps, honestly. The gaps are closing in day by day, honestly, because of research and the approach and the collaboration with other universities. Now we are collaborating with each other a lot and partnering with each other. So there are not many big gaps. What would come to mind would be the fact that students need more practical knowledge and practical experience, to get everybody to get their hands-on practical experience before they go out to the world of work. Maybe what we'll say is a small gap. But in Central University, from second year, you get the opportunity to do an internship. And it's mandatory. So you would have to find a place to do an internship. But we have a system now where the students who are doing very well and are on the dean's list get the opportunity to have the school place them. So we reach out to firms and get these students placed. So they do not have to, go find their own firms and companies to go and work with. So that practical training gap is also being filled somehow. So I believe going forward, all we need to do is to get our students to learn a bit more about the business and management side of architecture. If that can be included in our curriculum, that would help, so that we don't go out there and think that we can manage an office, a firm, without an accountant.
Okay. But isn't that something that you get to learn for the professional practice exams, like with the training after school?
Yes, you learn a bit of that. You learn a bit of that when you are preparing for your professional practice exams. But then again, I mean, the classroom setting in the school setting is different from what the training you get to write the exam. So if we could incorporate a bit of that into it right from there. So from school, you start thinking like an entrepreneur before you even get out there, because that's what we do, actually. We are entrepreneurs.
Okay. So having had students run through internships and all, coming back, you being a lecturer and now the head of departments, getting reports from other lecturers, architects lecturers, what would you say has it been impactful, the students going through internship? What's the importance of it so far?
So the practical learnings that you get equipped with real life training of what it is to do in an office setting. What do we do in an office? How do we start a project from inception and then build on it until we get to site? What do we do at site? You get it. You learn real hands-on and you experience as well what happens in an office. And you are mentored by somebody who is a practitioner. So this is somebody who does it 24/7, let's say. So that is the person who is teaching you the ropes. And you know, architecture is an apprenticeship program. We do it based on, I teach you what I know, so you learn from me. So just like carpentry or any other. So it's a hands-on training. I look at what you are doing, I correct it, and then you in turn also will learn and apply. So real life projects, how they start and how they proceed through the motions and then end. And then you see a building coming up, and then you can also experience what it is to have a building come out from ground and go up to finishing and all that. So that experience, we cannot belittle it at all. We really need students to go out there to have internships. That's what will shape, because practice and academia needs to come together. Because we could be producing students with all the big curriculum and all the fancy things that we can put into the curriculum. But if we do not partner with practice and know exactly what practice is looking for, then the students may get out there and they may not be of any good use to practice. So that partnership needs to go on. And the internship is the bridge between academia and practice.
Have you seen any students who have been through internship come back and then it affects their design, how they even present, you know?
We always see that. We always see that. There's always a difference. As soon as they go for internship, the exposure alone makes them more confident. So they come back speaking better, presenting their works better, because they have had to, you know, when you go for internships, you are pushed. You are pushed to actually show what you have learned in school. Okay, so you say you can do this. Do it and let us see. So their real life projects, you are asked to do things on it. These ones are not conceptual anymore. You are not just dreaming because somebody is going to pay money for a project. So it's real details and all that. So they become more confident after they come back from internships.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. We live in a world now where technology is taking over a lot of things. You know, and in our industry, there's no way we can build without technology. Has technology changed the way architecture has been taught today, or is being taught?
Yes, very much so.
In what ways, please?
It has. Now, you know what technology does with architecture is that it helps us to become more efficient. You know, it cannot take away our ability to dream and to have big ideas and to dig from deep within us those things that God has placed there that we want to show to the world. So technology comes to make us more efficient, make our work faster, you know, help us to finish projects much quicker, help the work to be more visual, because now we have AI tools that we can use. We have building information systems that we can apply to our work. I think it's the bridge that is going to help architecture to find its next level. Because for us, we are artists and scientists and technical people. So a combination of all that plus technology now it gives us speed. It gives us a lot of speed. And
compared to the days where we use drawing boards, pencils and all that, which we still do for...
I was just going to come to that, that technology cannot take away from the fact that we dream and birth our dreams with pencils and papers. That we cannot stop doing. So in the level 100 and the first semester of level 200, you still work with your hands. Everything is pencil on paper.
Why is that so important? Why do architecture schools do that?
I think the connection between your hand and your brain and the ability for you to dream, the reality is that that connection, we cannot break it. A computer cannot do that. Yes.
So you believe the fastest way to bring out your ideas
is to sketch it down, on paper with pencil. Yes, that's the best way to go.
Interesting. Have you there are times in school where we have students say, oh, for me, once I sit behind the PC, I can just, sketch out something, my ideas. I can draft my ideas out rather than sketching it. What would you say to students that do that?
We use the softwares to help us draw out our ideas. So if the idea has not been formed anywhere, how do we draw it out? Yes. And that's why they call them computer-aided design. It's aiding you to design. It cannot design for you. Yes, computers do not design.
Interesting.
We do the design. We dream the dream, we pen it down on paper, and then we go to the computer to help us to efficiently produce drawings and details that we can take to site. Yes.
Nice. So in that, I believe there's been innovative ways that you've, and methods and tools that have improved lecturers teach architecture and other. What are some of those innovative methods?
Oh, well, we do a lot of peer teaching now. It's something that I have been using for a few years now. So identify very smart people in the class, students who are naturally talented, and then I encourage them to help other people who are struggling. Right. So peer teaching peer. I know the Gen Zs now, they're very difficult to reach, and they communicate better with themselves. Right. So why not use them to get information across to each other? We also do a lot of group works. Yes, because architecture is such a lonely journey to be on, honestly. In architecture school, can become very lonely. So if we group ourselves together and we work in teams, it makes it much more easier for people to get the concepts that and the theories that we are trying to teach. So peer teaching, group work, and project-based learning. So that means that when we take a particular project that we are doing, through that project, we teach you all the theories and concepts we want you to know about that particular project. So if it is spaces we are working on, we make sure that with a project where you probably are modeling and building things, by the time you are done with that particular project of maybe 9 square problem that we do in the level 100 a lot, you would have understood how spaces can be put together, what spaces are, how some are global and some are local and some are transitional and Some are intimate and not so intimate and all that. So you would understand through a particular project. Yes. So those are some of the ways.
This sends me back to, it was first year that we did the 9 square problem, where we called queues and columns.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of us were like, we've paid money to come to school to come and learn, and you're letting us put boxes and all these papers together. What's the essence? What's the logic behind it? But only for you to understand that these are things that will aid your thinking and design capabilities. So to the students out there, is everything that you're being taught in architecture school is highly important. It's very important. And hearing it from the head of department, take every little thing serious. Though nothing is useless, everything means something, and it adds up to your whole journey of being an architect. So let's take it from there. Also, educational institutes like yours, before technology, we had our culture, we had, there were environmental issues and all that. How can educational institutes incorporate local culture and environmental challenges into their programs?
Once you exist in a certain context, it is so critical that you impact the context. So we are in a community, for instance, in Mutual. We need to be seen to be impacting the community we are in. And of course, architecture is such that you cannot do it without looking at your context. Where are you putting your structure? What is there already? What would affect its being placed there? The culture of the people. What would make them want your project, or want to associate with it, or want to be seen in it, and also the environment. What kind of environment do you want to create? The ecology of the place. Do you want to keep it? Do you want to maintain it? All those things will come together to make good architecture, make a good project. So we cannot take them out. In the level 200 class, we do rural survey.
Nice.
I don't know if you remember that.
I remember.
Yes, we go out to the community.
Went to a strange city. You took us there. Yes. A strange town, sorry.
Yes.
Lepouno.
Yes.
Yes. Somewhere in Pampram.
Yes. So you go into a community like that, you study the place, and then you come up with some solutions to their environmental issues, to the built environment, the housing, their social-cultural setting, and how it affects how they live and all that. So for architecture, it is a space where we combine the environment, the people, and location. It's like a tripartite system.
Okay.
When we combine that very well, we can achieve some very, very comfortable spaces for people to live in.
Interesting. What skills do you think are often underrepresented in current architecture education?
The schools?
Skills.
The skills.
Yes. Maybe, let's say, sustainability, digital tools, or project management.
So in terms of these, I think that for now, because we are working with the times and we are upgrading ourselves, we have caught up. We are catching up. So we teach project management in architecture now. It is a course that we do, Introduction to Project Management. I think now we do it in the 4th year. We do some quantity surveying because we know that value for money is key to every client. So we need to be able to understand what the costs are on a project. You get it. And even the advanced digital tools, I mean, we're looking at how students are using AI to aid their workings now, and trying to see how we can help them so that they are not overly reliant on AI. You do your design and then you use AI to enhance it, basically. So I don't think we are lacking much. We have a partnership with IFC where we are now taking their course. It's a whole course. It's called Designing for Greater Efficiency. So it's a whole sustainability course. Yes, that we do in the 4th year as well. It's an 8 model course.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So instead of the built environment that we used to study before, built environmental science,
yes,
we've replaced it with this program that is more integrated and covers much more of sustainability.
Okay. I think that's much easier. Like our time, we were doing the built environment.
Yes.
And then also there were programs that we were taking out of school, like EDGE.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is still from the EDGE.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
This is from the EDGE, but this is a course on its own that we run as an institution now. So by the time you are done, you are actually ready to write the EDGE exams.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. So students from Central University are sort of EDGE expective, I should say.
Yes.
Okay.
Before they even come out of school.
Oh, interesting. Yes. Interesting.
Yes.
We already spoke about the business of architecture. I think it's something that we really don't know. For those of us who have already come out of the school, we get out and then trying to even, maybe you've written your PPE, the professional practice exams, and then you want to start your own firm and all that. The business of it, how to run a firm, how to run it as a business, because architecture, I think with time, we believe is a business on its own. It's not just you designing and putting buildings together. How are we preparing our students for this? I know you've touched on it a bit, but are these courses that are introduced into the curriculum now that will prepare students to be able to know how to deal with clients, charge appropriately, and run a firm accordingly?
Yes,
also?
Yes. So with the professional practice exam, you would get the opportunity to learn a bit more, But in school, we start that. Yes. So in school, you do professional practice, which is a course that you take. You take it for 2 semesters. So it means that there is some importance that we place on it. And in that course, you are taught the business of architecture, not in full detail. But then you are given an introductory pack that can help you, And then if you add the PPE to it, I think it's enough to propel you. But for every business person who wants to run a successful business, I always say that you should go for the training that is required. Yes, to be a good entrepreneur, you should be trained. Yes, so you seek training and then you get the appropriate experts, people with expertise to help you manage your firm. You cannot do it all by yourself. Yes.
Okay, what are some of the qualities, or let me use this word, attitude? We've spoken about skill, education and all, but I believe in every profession there are attitudes and qualities that make you a successful one. What are some of the attitudes that you believe a successful architect should develop in their education?
I think you should have some level of creativity. Yes. In as much as architecture is it's a business, and sometimes it can become technical and very scientific, let's say, with all the structures and all that. I think you need to develop your creative ability because that's the only way you can impact the world differently, because you need to be able to come up with an idea that is unique, that is different, that solves a problem, and that can stand out, out there. That is what we are supposed to be able to do. So you need to have that creativity. You need to be somebody who has good communication skills. Yes, I think the soft skills are very important because you'll be working in teams. So you need to be able to communicate. You need to also know how to do some level of project management. Yes, because costs and constraints and budgets and all that are things that will come across you in your career. So you need to have that attitude of learning and not stopping to learn. You should always be curious. That's a good attitude to have for an architect. You should be curious. You should want to learn more. You should find out why things work the way they do. Why this building appeals to people more than others. You should be curious to know so that you can incorporate some of your learnings into your own design. And you should be a patient person. Yes, because you are going to be working with people's huge sums of monies. And they would come at you with everything they have because they require some level of detail and perfection. And so you should be able to develop some level of patience where you can accommodate people, listen well so that you can take on their suggestions and then maybe advise them on what's the right thing to do. Yes.
You've just said another important thing in passing, which is listen well. So I think you should be able to listen to people properly and then, pick out their needs and then deliver.
It's key.
Okay.
It's key.
Okay. What do you see the future of architecture education evolving into in Africa?
I believe that we would start looking at architecture that is much more eco-friendly. We'll become more conscious about our environment and how we integrate it into architecture and how we would create comfortable spaces, even in our urban settings for our people. People have become more critical about their health and how they feel about themselves lately. So architecture, I think, would become much more concerned with people and their health and how they feel about their surroundings. So that would be one way to go. Another way that I see we focusing towards will be much more community-based problem solving. You get it? So we'll look into the community and see whether we can find the solutions to architectural problems or our built environment problems from the community itself, and also let the community in on what it is that we're doing. So more collaboration with our communities. It is a way we'll be going. And of course, technology is taking over. So as for the technological move, it's going up and up and up. Those are the ways. And then sustainability is the future. So that it will be the driving force for everything. It will tie everything together.
Interesting. Exposure. I think it's an important thing that architects need. What do you think is the importance of global exposure and exchange programs in shaping architecture students in Ghana and Africa at large?
I think seeing the world opens your eye. It gives you confidence. You get it. Experiencing other people's cultures gives you some ability to be able to design with some confidence. You are able to design with much more knowledge of the issues that need solving or the problems that need solving. So we cannot belittle the level of exposure that an architect or a trainee architect needs. You need a lot of exposure. You need to go and experience other spaces, other people's lives, other people's ways of doing things, learn from them, pick up some skills, experience cities and how they make you feel and see whether you can adapt same for your city or not. So I think every student needs a lot of exposure. They need to travel, they need to get out there and see what other people have done.
So what do students who can't travel do? You can't move around like privileged students who get parents to take them out summer holidays out of Africa, even across Africa, and all students who don't have those opportunities. How well do they get exposed? How would you recommend they get exposed?
I think technology has made it quite easy for us. I mean, we are in a global village now. Everything is on our phones and on our tablets. So read more. Watch all the podcasts that all the master architects are doing now. Get friends who are in different places and interact with them. Engage with people who are not in your environment and ask them interesting questions about their cities, their spaces, and how they think about architecture. Learn from using technology and the internet.
That's interesting. Again, architecture definitely is being taught by architects. You can't have a doctor teach us architecture. Definitely not. Would you say you can just have anybody at all who has studied architecture teach architecture, or there are certain things that someone needs to possess to effectively guide students in architecture school?
I think that for you to be a very efficient teacher in architecture, you need to be very patient. Because you are teaching people who are coming from different backgrounds, and you are hoping that they can grasp all the theories and the concepts that they have no ideas about. You need to be patient with people, because what we do has a lot of creative portions of it that need to be nurtured. So you need to be patient with the student. A good teacher must also be somebody who is open-minded. You know, all you know is not all that is there to know. Yes, there's more that we can all learn. So you should be open-minded. You should be willing to listen to what the students also have to say, what they feel about the experience that they are getting, and how they perceive what you are teaching them. You need to be able to give them the opportunity to give you feedback. It's very important. A good teacher must also be a good listener. You have to listen to the students, and you definitely have to be knowledgeable. I mean, that's the first thing, you know. But in our world today, the softer skills are much more important. Of course, you should be qualified to get into the position of teaching. So you should have the knowledge that you need to be able to teach. But then you should have those other softer skills.
So you know, in school, like let's say in my class, there were students who weren't so good with design. There were those that were strong in design. There were those that theory, you know, they were good, like art design theory and all. They could speak to architecture, history, the theories and all other things. Would you say someone who is weak in design can teach architecture? Or there needs to be a balance of teachers who are good in design and teachers who are good in theory to make a whole department?
Yes, so we need a mix of them. People specialize, you know. So some academics will specialize in certain areas, and so they bring their expertise to those areas only. But because architecture as a whole, if it is taught in a way that brings the practice and the theory together, it becomes something that students would better understand, really, you know. So for somebody who can design or who is practicing, you know, and also knows the theory and the philosophies and the concepts behind architecture, teaching it becomes much more holistic teaching. It's more whole for the student than somebody who is only skewed to one side. But we have different subjects that we teach, different courses, and so we have specialists. And that's also good enough. So a good balance should be fine.
Great. I mean, in achieving a good balance also, there needs to be like a relationship between the students and the lecturers. How can students build a good and strong relationship with their mentors and professors to, you know, go through, you know, the education and then churn out the best out of them? Because I believe there are students that sometimes are misunderstood. They are very creative, but maybe they feel they are rigid. There are rigid ways that things should be done.
Maybe
systematic ways things should be done. How, if there's a good relationship between the student and the teacher, how well do you think that can be, you know, well managed to bring out the best ideas instead of shutting them down?
If students want to connect better with their professors and their mentors, I believe that they should communicate more with them, ask more questions, you know, try to build a relationship with the lecturer, find out what the lecturer's interests are, and find out more about it. And if that's something that you're also interested in, that's where the relationship can start. You should be committed to the relationship. Ask questions, go. There's something I say that students should do. You should be present. You should be present. You should seek the person out. Look for the person. check on the person, ask how they are doing, you get it. And so that in that process, you build a relationship, and then you can always go with your questions and anything that bothers you. And you should show interest. Show interest in whatever is happening so that you can learn. It's only when you are curious enough, you ask more questions and you have shown interest, that I, on the other hand, will also say, okay, this guy seems like somebody who wants more. Because I come to class, I deliver a lecture to everybody. Yes, if you want more from me, you should seek me out.
That's true.
So they should come after us. And we are happy to have them, and mentor them. Yes.
With all your experience that you've gathered, what are some of the challenges that you feel the students face in learning architecture?
I'll say one of the biggest challenges I have noticed so far is the transitioning from hand drawing to CAD softwares.
How can the teachers help them achieve that?
Yes, we train you to use the softwares. Do you get it?
Yes.
What we need to emphasize is the fact that you cannot decouple the two. The two should go together. Students feel that when they are moving on to the stages where they now have to start using computers to do their work, it's like, okay, we drop the hand sketches all together and then we move on. So we see the disconnect in their design. The design becomes more rigid and much more, not in tune with all the principles that they've learned already. Because they are not sketching anymore.
It lacks concept.
There's no concept. There's no depth to the ideas are not big enough. They are very, shallow because you're just allowing technology to lead when your artistic and creative self should be brought to the fore. The other challenge I see students having is mastering the softwares. Yes. So a student may have a good idea, they have a good sketch, but because they have not mastered the use of the software yet, they start the design and then pause at a certain point and change it to something they can draw. I know you remember this very well.
Very much.
When you can't model the curve, you change it to a square that you can model.
Or a curve that doesn't really suit what you first sketched.
Yes. So that's also another challenge. And then, of course, the whole, architecture, the creative part and how to, develop a concept into something that practically can work.
And can be built.
And you can detail it well enough. It's another challenge that students face, taking the concept to, or having the documentation and all the research that you have done run through the process, and then we seeing the effect of it in the final product that you have done. That is also another challenge. And these things, we keep working at them, day by day. We help the students out. You need to follow the process. You see, you can't jump the process. In architecture, there's a process that we follow. And if you follow through with it consistently, it becomes something that you get used to and does not become a headache anymore.
That's nice. I believe there's a lot of feedback that you hear as a lecturer from students as well. How does feedback from the teachers also, as the HOD, help influence the growth of the students and build their confidence also? Sorry. There are instances, one of the things that we hate to hear as students is redo. Redo. You spend nights, sleepless nights, putting a work together, you get back, and sometimes the lecture doesn't even go through to the end. Just one thing, like orientation. It's not oriented properly. Redo. Cancelled, your model smashed down. These are things that hurt us as students. How do you feel doing that to us? And how do you expect us to take that also? Is there a way that could be done better instead of smashing our works and telling us redo, or like 5 weeks or 2 weeks of work and I just mount it on the wall, redo.
So for the redo, that cannot stop. In Central University, we do not smash works.
Okay.
At least we don't do that. But you understand that architecture is a very serious profession. We build projects that people use, and if we do not do them well, we don't design them well, we don't put them together well, we don't build them well, if anything happens, if an accident happens, if it collapses, you kill people. That's why we take so long in school, till you master the craft of design and putting projects together. You get it? So in the process of helping you to master the craft of designing, we have to do things right. Yes. So like you mentioned, orientation, redo. Yes. If all your windows are on the east and west, then we know that in our context where we are located in the world, we are better off putting our windows on the north and south. Definitely, that project is going to fail. Yeah. Because we have to mechanically ventilate and cool that building the whole time. We do not want that. That is not what we want to sell to the client. So we make you do it again so that in the future you do not go and cause any problems out there. Yes.
You rather redo it in school.
You redo it in school and master the craft well enough before you go out there. Yes.
Okay. It's been an interesting conversation so far. So yes, lastly, what advice would you give aspiring architecture students to maximize their learning and then impact in the profession?
I'll say that they should keep in tune with the trends in architecture, where architecture is going now. They should follow the trends carefully. It's digital technological advancements. We're doing sustainability. Those are key. We're looking at different tools that can make architecture more efficient and faster to produce and all that. And they should also look deep within themselves to see whether they have the tenacity and the grit, the ability to persevere, through this very, very difficult program. We call difficult in quote. We call architecture. It's very stressful. It will take up your whole time. You need to be very dedicated to it, committed to the period. So if it is a 5 or 6 year program, you know that 6 years of your life, you're giving it off to architecture fully, and so that you can, come out a good architect. So they should be thinking through those things. Their level of commitment should be very high. They should learn the new technologies and softwares that we use now, and all the new theories and the new approaches that architecture is, facing towards now is what students should be looking at.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much for talking to us today. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure, and I think it's been very insightful as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Head
for
of
having me.
Department of Architecture, School and Design, Mrs. Ninette Kwafio. Thank you for coming.
Yes, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.